Alright, so we got a little bit done, and I want to say a little bit because that's what exactly what it is. A little bit is what it is. A little bit is a little bit in some people's eyes. Some people feel like it's a big push on some stuff, but we're doing some work. So further, just to further get along in some areas, we got our wideband installed. Like I said, the last video, yeah, it's running along the back wall, zip tied, all clipped and everything. It's running right there. Um, we're gonna push the timing back a bit when we drain the gas. I screwed up and ran the car on that gas that's been sitting in the car for probably a month, and the car really hates it. I mean, like super hates it. So yeah, my bad. I mean, I was able to spray some brake cleaner in there to get it to move around and stuff, but I really hope the car is not gonna try to hydrolock because of the horrible gas in here. So yeah. Um, we did some rewiring. Of course, that's not permanent. So before somebody tries to call me out on it, it's not permanent. The fuse holder is not permanent. That's not permanent. Uh, a lot of stuff is not permanent. So somebody's gonna bitch. It's not permanent. It's just so I can mock everything up in the car and move stuff around and see where it fits. And that's all I'm really doing. I'm not really trying to make this permanent before anybody tries to get in my, get on me about that. Hold on. Yep, turn that off. So we just got to change the oil on here. Oil look pretty decent. Uh, for braking oil, I mean, motor just pretty much already was broken in. It's been driving around for the longest, but with the little refresh I did, I want to just go and change the oil. It's running Dello 1540 in here, diesel oil, pretty much diesel oil, and a Wix filter with the relocation kit right here. And the only reason I want to say is I ran the Delos because it's diesel oil. It has a thicker film. It sticks to stuff a little bit better. When I say stick, I don't want to say people saying it clogs. It sticks to parts a little bit better. So to me, it just keeps lubrication going. Just keeps it in good places and keeps it on the part a little bit longer as it's going through the revolutions of the engine. Um, but when I said wiring, stuff isn't permanent. Well, one of these wires actually is. It's gonna be this one, the big one that's running to the back, and the one on top of it right here. That's oops. That's actually running to. Okay. It's running to a fuse holder right there. We got to get it mounted up either right here. We're trying to mount everything where we can get easy access to it. I mean, I'm not worried about having passenger with me, and really, I don't want a passenger that don't know nothing about cars that can't listen because I really don't want them kicking my shit or breaking something and then me being stuck. So, and that's where the wires are coming up for the wideband. Uh, you know, back to this outside the car. Along with everything, we did I want to say, what is it? The exhaust gas, I guess, ports on the back of the head. So we plugged those off a little bit ago. Let me see if I can find the bolt. Yeah, sure enough, I can't find it for the plug. But if you go to Ace and you go to the bolt section and get, I want to say go to the bolt section and find the drain plug section. Get a 14 millimeter, and they fit right inside the exhaust ports. And I mean, really, that's all you're gonna probably need. You're not gonna need more than that. I mean, it seems to be sealing the turbo. I mean, I don't know if anybody else ran into this, but since I had them open and didn't realize why the turbo wasn't spooling as quick, and I realized I'm like, wait, I removed the EGR and all that crap off the original EFI setup, and I never thought, I never remembered to plug the holes, and sure enough, that's that black crap on the back of the walls. So when the back pressure picked up on the turbo side, it was just going out the back of the heads. And it's not because the heads are in torque, it's just going out through that little port, which I never really thought about that, and I completely forgot about that. So, you know, good, good that I got that done. Some other stuff, it's just we called CB Performance last month, and I think it should probably be another 2 or 3 weeks. From what she said, she was still out 45 days for getting the ECU in, so I can control the timing on the car. But I bumped the timing down the other day when I got the gauge installed, and I don't know exactly why. I just dialed the distributor back where it sounded good, and it smelled pretty good, and it seemed to like it. And the weird part that caught me off guard was I think last time I was in this car, I changed out the wastegate spring to a really, really small spring, which opens up around, I want to say barely even 3 or 4 pounds boost. So, funny thing is, when I got on it to open up the throttle with the pipe on, it it got really rich. Like, I mean, pretty pig rich for 4 pounds of boost, and I'm like, well, holy shit! Like, I wasn't expecting it to do exactly that. Because I remember when I bought the car, the guy said it was bogging out his, I want to say Sage 2 or 3 cammed 302, and he said his char was bargain. It was kind of bargain hard on it, and I told him, that might be perfect for what I'm doing, since the fact of we're running a turbo, it's gonna need more fuel, and he was saying that he didn't know exactly what was done to it. I'm starting to figure this car is already, pretty modified enough to do what it needs to do. Um, I won't say modified to the point where it has the floats in there, the TKO floats, but the brass floats in there, and then probably a marine accelerator pump. I think this thing will handle 4 psi easily before the floats start to, do some things like crush or anything, and higher boost range. But you know, I might just open it up and just see, kind of get an idea of what's in there before we do anything further. But I mean, again, this thing got like probably it got super rich. It got so rich I was even stopping on. I stopped at probably 65 to 70% throttle, got it for a second or 2 seconds, and realized it was getting richer and richer as I went down, and which caught me completely off guard. So I want to say the springs in those metering rods, with the metering rods, are probably like the lightest spring they have in them, and that's why it just got so rich. I think this car was probably designed for like something with a huge lumpy idle, and with almost no vacuum, because this thing just overcame any resistance all of a sudden. Like, it was meant to have a turbo on it, or it was meant for a big oversized cam. But I mean, again, I feel like I won on that deal all day long. I feel like I won now. Just uh, but not much more to go. Not much more going on. Eventually, we're gonna wrap our exhaust pipe. We just need really time. I might do that next weekend since I'm off. Um, Eventually we're gonna have to run our coolant lines up here for our transmission, since we haven't been driving it long, and when we do drive it down the street for like a good 3 minutes, we have the transmission lines running, you know, probably a good 3 or 4 feet out and back into the transmission. So there's no cooler running, so we're gonna have to get a cooler in here, braided transmission lines, get our turbo return and feed line hooked up. Return line, is on there. Our feed lines fittings are there in the truck. They're just waiting on the gauge, and pretty much we're just winding down. Like I said, we don't have much more really to go on the engine. We know the tranny works, everything else works, and we could go into getting a different torque converter for the car. I'm not sure yet. I want to see how this one does just on a couple of little pulls, but we finally already tracked down a 2300 stall converter that O'Reilly's doesn't offer anymore, but AutoZone seems to offer. So we might head over to AutoZone sometime next month. Go ahead and order the torque converter and get it here. I think it's 2300 to 2500 stall, and it's by Pro King. And really, I'm just looking forward to do some stuff. I mean, this car is starting to sound better, look better, and well, with all the signs in the engine, just the engine started to sound and look a little bit better on power wise. And I feel like you'll have enough. I mean, the game of any time you're racing is it's about traction and reaction and power. I mean, you gotta at least have two of those, at least two. Sometimes you can have enough power and outpower the track, outpower the street. Especially on the street, you can overpower a street, and a little lower horsepower car can walk on by you and turn it up down the line. To the edge of where he feels kind of safe, but he's still not safe margin. Versus anybody goes out there with a shitload of power and can't keep the ass end down and keep it straight in traction. He's gonna either get out of it, he's gonna burn, just pretty much burn up the tires and just smoke the tires all the way out the hole. And I mean, I'm not gonna say there aren't people that have a shitload of power that can outrun, even though he's smoking the tires out of the hole, he still wins. But I mean, anything happens in racing. He could fuck up and break something. I could fuck up and break something. So again, it's like I said, it's power, reaction, and traction. Those are two of the three. You need two of those three things. If you got at least two of them, you should be good. And then the fourth thing is you need a shitload of luck. I mean, anything can happen. So I guess I'm gonna end it right here. If you guys need help putting one of these motors in, I can guide you through it. I can guide you to the process on how to do it. I mean, just message me. I think I mentioned before on this engine, these are solid motor mounts for this car. Let's see if there they are. It's solid motor mount right there. Bronco, they make Bronco adjustable mounts. You can use those. They're a lot nicer. They're polyurethane. They cost a lot more. They cost around $50 to $60 to $70 more, but they are nicer. But again, it's all about your budget on doing this thing. The top of the holes on the engine, or on the mounts on the frame on the K member, are going to have to be clearanced. And then from there, you got to decide what powertrain you putting behind that transmission or that engine, as far as transmission, T5, T55, or AOD, C4, C6 with a, you got different things. AODE, you're gonna have to worry about transmission controller, 4R70W transmission controller. I mean, you're gonna have to worry about different things for this swap. So for the people that sit there and whine about it's too hard, it's not too hard. You just gotta have to think. This isn't an LS swap. LS, everybody's done it. Everybody has videos. So of course there's enough information out there. You can find me easily. And then people just say, if you're doing any other swap, it can't be done, or you're stupid, or you're slow, you're not gonna make as much power, and blah blah blah. Enough shit. You can do any swap you want to do. You can drop a small block Chevy in this thing. You can drop a big block Chevy in this thing. Just know you're gonna have to work a little bit more for a big block Chevy. You can drop a 383, again small block Chevy, or a 302 like I have done, and 351, pretty much the same motor, just a little bit taller deck. 82 deck right here, and 351 the 92 deck. I believe I'm still a little tired from work, so I might be off by a little bit. Or you could go big block Ford 460, or a small big block right on the edge of, it's more of a big block 390, which almost win this car if I would have had an oil pan that night and a little bit more time and patience. This car would have been well, I'm not gonna say would have, probably it would have had a 390 in here, and 302 would have been benched over there in the corner. But I mean, for some of you guys, happy 4th of July. That's where I'm gonna end it at. Get to clean it up and go let the dogs out. And hopefully we can get some more parts in and get to work. So, peace.